Welcome, everyone. This is Mike Dotterer, and it is a tribute that we're going to be doing for Coach Bill Workman, who was instrumental in my life. I wouldn't be on this on the dot. On the dot wouldn't exist if it weren't for Coach Workman, who transitioned earlier this week. And he is someone that made a huge difference in my life and in so many lives of young men and women, boys and girls. He coached at the high school level, at the junior college level. And I'm going to read a short tribute here to Coach Workman that I put the information in, and Chat GPT helped me scribe this. So here we go, and we're going to be bringing on some guests. I've got a special guest waiting in the wings right now that I'm going to bring on, and he's going to add to this tribute that I'm going to read here in loving memory of Coach William. We've called him Bill Workman, Coach Workman, William Wade Workman, a man of passion and dedication, left an indelible mark on the world of sports, and especially for high school kids in Orange County. He coached me for 1 year. I was very grateful to be on his team and a member of the Edison Charger team in the 1978. And Coach Workman was born on June 20th, 1941 in Bell, California. I believe it was Bell, California. And his journey as an athlete and as a coach and as a mentor spanned many, many decades, inspiring so many high school football players, and not just football players. I mean, the cheerleaders, the fans, the parents. He was an inspiration to all those that he interacted with. He's just an amazing person, almost like John Wooden at UCLA, who had a huge impact on the people that he touched. Coach Workman was the same. He just had a great presence and how he carried himself and how he got the student athletes to go to another level, and not only as an athlete, but as a human being, and to prepare us for life after Edison or when he was at at Orange Coast College. His athletic prowess was evident at an early age. He was a student at Bell High School, and he excelled as a running back and a hurdler in track. And he proudly wore the number 47. And it was during this time that he formed a lifelong friendship with some famous names in football history. Craig Ferdig, Marv Marinovich, Don Coryell, George Allen, all these people. There was a connection through not only at Bell High School, but Whittier College. And he continued his athletic pursuits after Bell High School at East Los Angeles Junior College, where he showcased his skills again as a running back. And his talents didn't go unnoticed, and he earned a spot on the football team at Whittier College, where he had, as I said, the privilege to meet legendary coaches Don Coryell and George Allen. And this encounter continued sparking his passion for coaching and kind of set him on a path that would define his career. And Coach Workman's journey began as a graduate assistant at his alma mater, Whittier College. And it was here where he honed his skills and he learned from seasoned professionals and preparing for a remarkable journey. As I said, there's so many players that I know if they hear this are clapping, because Coach Workman, I know I wouldn't be where I would not have had the opportunities that I had without Coach Workman and all the staff. And I will talk about our special guests that we're going to have on, and we're going to talk about the staff. So he, and then in 1979, he had the opportunity to work with Coach Bill Vail, marking the beginning of a fruitful partnership. And in 1972, Coach Workman joined the Edison High School football staff as an assistant coach, under Vince Cesaro. And he was another figure from his Whittier College days. And Coach Workman's commitment to knowledge and leadership qualities quickly became evident. And in 1973, he assumed the head coaching position at Edison High School. And over the next 13 years, Coach Workman's impact on the football program was immeasurable. He was National High School Coach of the Year in 1979 when the team won the CIF championship with Frank Sire and Kerwin Bell. And they just had, an amazing run, 13-year run. And during his tenure at Edison, he brought together a remarkable coaching staff, because you're only as good as the was touched by them. Coach White, who was a great player at Oregon State, went to Edison and then Oregon State, was the head coach, and Bill Vail, I think I mentioned him to you. And the collective efforts that all of these coaches had transformed Edison football into a team that was just remarkable. And then in 1985, they tied for the CIF championship. And that's when Coach decided to move on to Orange Coast College. And he could have gone, I'm sure, many other places around the country, because he was a great coach and a great evaluator of talent. And he was great at surrounding himself with, as I said, great assistants. And in 1986, as I said, he went on to Orange Coast. And with that, I'm going to bring on my special guest and also former head coach at Orange Coast Junior College. And he was on the staff with Coach Workman at Edison and then at Orange Coast, and then took over for Coach and is Coach Taylor, I believe, is in the California Junior College Hall of Fame. And if he's not, he should be. So Coach Taylor, let me bring him on here.
Good morning, Michael.
There we go. And Coach Taylor's live from California.
And
let me see.
Glad
there
to
we go.
join the
Coach, how are you?
Good. Just had a birthday yesterday, and I'm still trying to recover this morning.
Yes, happy belated birthday, and
Yeah.
And give my love to Chrissy, your beautiful partner. And Coach, it's great to have you on to talk about the Coach Workman and the tribute. And I just like to, what we like to do on the dot is have you talk about, whatever you want to talk about with Coach Workman, and what great memories you have with Coach. And that little overview, I had ChatGPT. I put in the information, and ChatGPT helped me write it out. But I'm sure there's a lot missing. So take it away, Coach.
Well, Bill and I obviously coached together for 16 years, 3 at Edison and 13 at Orange Coast College. I was assistant defensive coordinator at one point and linebacker coach at one point. And obviously had a chance to see Bill up close and personal at practice every day, how he handled the players and how the players interacted with him, and used a lot of that as a young coach to kind of groom myself a little bit as far as coaching and following a lot of his ideas and his mannerisms. And he was quite a man, quite a Christian guy, upstanding guy. He spent a lot of time dealing with, like we all do, with personalities and kids that have problems. And people were amazed at the college, the things that would come across our desk and myself as a head coach later that the normal teacher in the college doesn't deal with. And Bill handled that and did a great job. So he was very much loved by his players. And I know I see Kerwin Bell's name coming across here now. And obviously he was a big part of our success at Edison. And he was close to Coach Workman as well as myself. So anyway, Bill was a great mentor for me as a young coach. And I think looking back on my life, there's just like all of us, we have 2 or 3 coaches that we model ourselves after, and Bill's definitely one of them.
Coach, what are some of the great stories? I mean, you coach so many great players, and Kerwin, thank you, Kerwin. How are you? He's listening and tuning in. Kerwin, one of the great running backs in Southern California history, went on to the University of Kansas, and I think he broke Gail Sears' freshman running back rushing record. But Coach, what were some of the memories that what made Coach Workman unique in your from your perspective?
Well, like I said, he was a kind of a guy that could defuse situations that came up. He was level-headed. His personality was, he enjoyed the players. I think that's something I learned. Coaching can be stressful. You can either be a coach that stands there with a clipboard with a scowl on his face all the time, or you can be a coach that gets down and visits, and the kids would come in and talk to him about their problems. And his personality and his wisdom, I think, spilled over to the players as they left and moved on into their own life. And I know that things that have come across over the last couple of days have talked about how he taught them to be men, taught them to be good husbands and good fathers. And that's what Bill obviously brought to the table, as well as the other coaches. We were very fortunate at Edison to have the staff that Bill put together. And I was basically one of the last ones to get into the mix.
Yeah, well, I had the fortune to be, be coached by a lot of coaches because I played for 4 different high school football teams, and the one thing that I loved about Coach Workman is his cool demeanor. I mean, he reminded me of Coach Bill Walsh. I mean, he was just, you didn't see him screaming that much. I mean, he just was, he just knew how to. I don't know. It was like a calm confidence. That's my memory of Coach Workman. I don't ever remember him screaming at me.
And he probably had some reasons to scream at you sometimes. We were laughing this morning, talking to Michael earlier with another coach, and remembering about this young man. And again, Bill never panicked. Michael used to sneak in the coach's locker room and take a shower, and he was the only player on the team that did that, obviously. And we caught him, man. We heard the shower going, and we're in there talking about practice and talking about players. And then we hear noise, and we look in there, and one of our players is using the shower that is basically only for coaches. So we called him Coach Dot at that point because he took it upon himself to not use the player shower, but use the nicer shower that had soap and actually water that had pressure. So we were laughing about that. And Bill just chuckled, and there was no panic. There was no upset. It was just, geez, Dot. And kind of his way of dealing with, well, obviously that's not a big problem, but dealing with situations, he was level-headed, and we had a lot of wisdom that he would share with not only coaches but players.
Yeah, you had you had a great run there at Edison. I believe Coach Workman coached 13 years. It was 13 years at Edison.
Yeah, he was the first. He came there originally with Vince, who knew him at Whittier, like you said in your opening, and he came in '73 as the head coach and hired the assistants that were still there in '77, '78, and '79 for the most part when I came on board. And then after the '79 season, we kind of split up. Kerwin Bell went on to Kansas, so we lost the. Even though we had some good running backs coming in, for the younger guys, but Barry went ahead, or Waters went ahead and got the Westminster job, the head football job. Russ stayed a couple more years and then went to USC and started eventually his professional career coaching in the NFL. And then I left and went down to South County, so we kind of split things up. And then, of course, Dave White came on full time and was on the varsity staff with Bruce Belcher and some of the other coaches they hired at that time.
Yeah. And what's amazing about Edison, I'm breaking up again here. Anyway, what's amazing about Edison is only 5 coaches in the history of Edison High School football.
Yeah, well, that's a sign of continuity and obviously good coaches and good programs. you don't want 5 coaches in one season. So it was a longevity job, and I think what's happening now with Jeff Grady and his staff is continuing the tradition. Of course, Jeff played at Edison and has filled in Dave White's shoes, and Dave's still coaching with him, but they're keeping it going, and I see Jeff being there, a lifetime job for him too.
Wow. Well, I got, let's see here. We've got another comment, the chosen ones. Hey, Mike, you guys are well and on the dot. Let's go. And then here's thank you, whoever the chosen one is. And then we got James Nawatney. And here we go. He says, Mike, you're right. Bill was cool. Well, I was from a football family of 4 boys who played at Edison. I did not get the accolades. I played freshman, sophomore football and was the JV quarterback at Edison. During my junior season, I broke my neck in a game. Wow. Do you know Jim Nwatney?
I know John, his brother. His brother was our first quarterback at Orange Coast in 1986. A good player, and I knew the father because I worked for Huntington Beach Police at one time as a civilian on the beach. I had the best job in Orange County, driving around on a bike and an ATC on the beach, handing out little stickers to little kids in their sand buckets. So the father was a police officer for years. So I knew the family. I didn't know Jim.
Yeah, Jim, it says here, he said Bill asked him to assist coaching the DBs, and he was up on the booth with the headphones next to Dave White, and he assisted in the booth Friday nights and ran the cross-country meets the following morning. Wow. And because, Coach, you coached track too, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I came on board. I participated in track in high school and competed in track in the community college level. I was a thrower, and ended up was contacted kind of through the Bill Workman, Edison High School. Gordy Fitzel contacted me and said I need an assistant because I think Vincent was at one point was a track coach at Edison. Of course, he left football and track and moved to the Napa area. And then all of a sudden, the spring of 1977, before football season, I was working with the track program, and then was actually given the head coach job in 78. And of course, you ran track for me in 79 along with Kerwin. And we had a pretty good group of athletes come through at that point. Not that they had some great athletes with the Rockshanis and all those guys before. And our cross country team was strong. Gordy did a great job. And they used to call themselves the backbone. And track and field, really the middle distance and the distance runners are the guys that do well for the team. If you're strong there, you're going to have a good team.
You know, I'll tell you, with Coach Workman, I'm thinking about, what Tony Robbins, the neuro-linguistic programming, which, NLP is the acronym. And I didn't know anything about that, back at Edison. But I think Coach Workman must have understood that intuitively, because he just, he just had a way of wording things, he wasn't verbose, and he didn't go on and on. He'd just say a few things, and then you would respond. And I just the memories I have of him, just and then that when we would meet before the game, I didn't realize, always proud to be a Charger, that tradition of everyone gets to say something. Everyone on the team, you're only as strong as. And I don't want to say weakest link. Everybody contributes, from the trainer to the water girls or water boys to the guys that are on the bench. I mean, that's the true essence of a team, Coach. And because you were a head coach, how did you guys? What was it that brought Edison so close together? What was the key to Coach Workman and your success?
Well, thinking about working with Bill, I think like I said, his personality and being a coach for all 80, 90 guys, he put himself in that situation. I don't really remember. We had some superstars, obviously, talking to one and looking at Kerwin's name on the screen here, and you guys were two of the best at that time. But but we had guys on the team that never played, but they were a part of the team, and everybody was brought into the group. And I used to tell kids when they came to Orange Coast, I said, we're going to have fun. We're going to hopefully win games and do it the right way. And no matter who you are, you're always going to be remembered as a part of the program. And I, looking back at some of the guys we had that are Facebook friends on that Edison Facebook group, and then some of those guys didn't get much playing time, but they still felt a part of those success. And they weren't. There wasn't a lot of cliques where guys downplayed guys that didn't. Get out of here. That kind of thing. There was no pecking order. Everybody was a Charger, and everybody was a Pirate. And no matter who you were, you earned the respect of people that surrounded you.
Yeah. Well, I want to
thank Bill brought that into the program. So, and I learned that from him. He didn't differentiate the difference between a superstar and somebody that would probably never get on a team.
Yeah, he treated everyone. Yep. And that when people ask me, who are coaches, football coaches that made a huge impact on me, as a player, and Coach Workman, in high school, obviously, you and Coach Workman and the staff, there's no way I would have done what I did without your tutelage and guidance. And then at the professional level, and I was only there 1 year, similar to Edison, but Coach Flores, the same type of feeling that we had that you and Coach Workman and Coach Purnell and Coach Waters and Coach Henry and all the coaches at Edison, the feeling that you created, Coach Tom Flores created the same feeling when I was with the Raiders the short time. I always tell people they treated Mike Dotterer the same as they treated Marcus Allen. There was no pecking order. It was, we're all on the team. And, we had a guy named Run Jones that got 3 Super Bowl rings, and he was our water boy, that they took off a roller derby. I mean, the story is amazing. But again, as you said, Coach, it's everyone coming together, and everyone's a part of the success of the team. So what we do, I just want to thank Kerwin Bell for joining in, and whoever is the chosen one, I want to thank you for your comments. I just put up, I think there, let's see here, chosen one. It says, and then we've got prayers for his family from the Nichols, Jeff Nichols, class of 74, Tim Nichols, class of 78, and Sean Nichols, class of 81. Do you know the Nichols family?
I don't know. I remember Tim, I think, class of 78 would have been the 77 season. I was there that year. We did go to the playoffs, but we were, I think, second behind Fountain Valley in the Sunset League. And then, of course, Sean was there a year after I was gone. And, of course, they had that 14-0 team in 1980 with Kerwin's brother Dino and that group, Younger Sire, and all those guys that played and made that team go completely, win them all, where we did lose two ball games in 79 and obviously lost a couple games in 78 when you were there.
Mm-hmm.
Not too many, though.
Yeah. Yeah. And Sean Nichols, class of 81. So thank you to the Nichols family for tuning in. And then thank you, James Nowotny, for tuning in. And Coach, this is going to be recorded, so hopefully people can. Oh, and there's Jeff Brown. Let's post Jeff Brown. You remember Jeff Brown?
Remember Jeff? Yeah, I think we're Facebook friends too.
Yeah,
I've seen him pop up on the Edison stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, there is Jeff. Jeff Brown. Thank you, Jeff. Jeff ran track and played football.
Yeah.
Was an outstanding two-sporter. And Daryl Furman. Oh, Daryl Furman, who didn't even go. Daryl played for Bear Bryant. Daryl, how are you, Daryl? He's tuning in.
Yeah, I know Daryl from the Letterman's group that we're in. I'm in that same group that you're in too with Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl's doing a great job with our veterans and the Letterman's group. So thank you, Daryl. And Coach, what we do with On the Dot is we like to have you have the last word, because you obviously knew Coach Workman before I did, and I would never have, if it weren't for my father meeting you And I don't know if anyone knows the story, but you might want to share how you met my dad, and then but whatever you want to say, you get the last word, Coach.
I'll
And I'm
share
going,
that. I'll share that real quick because it obviously was a big part of you coming to Edison. I used to be the sub caller in Santa Ana. I'd go to work at 5 in the morning and go through the list of teachers that were not going to be attending class that day, and group people together and send teachers off from K all the way up to high school. And there was a guy by the name of Henry Dutch Daughter that was qualified in Spanish, and had a general credential so he could teach everything. And he was living in California now and living in Orange County. And I would call him in the morning, and he always worked. And there wasn't a case where I can't work today. So we visited and got to know each other a little bit over the phone. And of course, Mike was at Mater Dei, and Dutch reached out to me and said he'd like to maybe leave Mater Dei and come to looking around. And what about Edison? You're over there. And I said, well, you need to come over and talk to Coach Workman and see if it fits. And then sure enough, Dutch came by with Mike. And of course, we knew who Mike was because we played against him in '77. And he was a good back at Mater Dei and a good track runner at Mater Dei. Came over and played 3 sports and obviously moved on to where he went to Stanford and had a great career. And my last parting here on Bill, obviously he'll be missed and he'll be remembered. I think his legacy, like we've said, is his ability to put people together, treat people with respect. He loved his players. His players loved him, and that was something that I always tried to do with my guys. And maybe not as good as Coach Workman, but that was my model. And it's a tough time for everybody. It's part of life. And I talked to Sherry yesterday for 45 minutes, and we reminisced about some things. And that was a beautiful relationship for 57 years between Bill and Sherry Workman. And he's going to be missed, but every time I think of Bill, I'll think of all the positive wisdom that he gave me and other people around him.
Thank you, Coach Taylor, and God bless you, and God bless Coach Workman, and God bless Sherry and his entire family. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the Workman family, and thank you, Coach, and thank you for all the Edison Charger family members out there and the Orange Coast family members, and thank you again, Coach. We love you and appreciate it. We'll get you back on the dot to talk about.
Yeah, this is fun. You're doing a great job. I need to get you on TV so you can take over for. Oh, they got rid of Conan O'Brien, so you can't take over for him. He's been gone for a while. Anyway, great seeing, good hearing from people that are checking in, and like I said, Coach Workman's memory will be forever in our hearts and our minds. Anyway, have a great Saturday, everybody.
Thank you, Coach. Love you.